Chapter 1. The Return to the Forgotten Star. The vast emptiness of space stretched out in all directions, a silent sea of darkness punctuated by the cold glimmers of distant stars, each one a sun to a world unknown, a story untold. Among these countless points of light, drifting quietly through the void near the edge of the Orpheus Nebula, was a derelict ship, a vessel that time itself seemed to have forgotten. Its hull was scarred by meteor impacts and faded from years of cosmic radiation, yet it held an enigmatic presence, as if it bore within it secrets too profound for even the cold vacuum of space to erase. The ship's once brilliant markings were barely visible now, but they spoke of an ancient race, the Yvarin, beings whose civilization had flourished and then vanished in a mystery that had confounded galactic scholars for centuries. It was upon this forgotten relic that a lone figure approached, Captain Lyra Soren, a human woman whose heart carried both the burden of loss and the unyielding flame of hope. Years ago, she had left this forsaken place, a child she could not save entrusted to the care of strangers, a promise whispered in the darkness that she would return. "Didn't I say I'd be back?" she murmured, her voice barely more than a breath against the endless night. The galaxy had changed in her absence. Alliances had shifted, empires had risen and fallen, and the memory of the Yvarin was but a faint echo in the annals of history. Yet Lyra's resolve had only strengthened. The child she sought, an alien baby born under extraordinary circumstances, held the key to truths long buried, a link to the forgotten past, and the promise of a future that could unite fractured worlds. As Lyra's ship drew alongside the derelict vessel, sensors began to flicker and come alive, struggling to pierce the veil of silence that had settled for decades. Deep within the shadowed corridors of the ancient ship, the baby, small, fragile, and shimmering with an otherworldly glow, lay in a cradle of light, untouched by time, but seemingly waiting for this moment. Lyra stepped aboard, her footsteps echoing softly in the hollow passageways, each step a bridge spanning years of absence and uncertainty. Her eyes scanned the surroundings with a mixture of familiarity and disbelief. The ship was a tomb and a sanctuary, preserved in stasis by technology that defied understanding, holding within it memories encoded in the very fabric of its being. When she finally reached the child, her hands trembling, she hesitated, a mother's fear and longing mingling in her heart. The moment her fingers brushed the baby's skin, a surge of light and energy pulsed through the chamber. Memories long sealed within the child's fragile mind awakened, unraveling like threads of a tapestry woven from ancient dreams and cosmic destinies. Visions flooded Lyra's consciousness, fragments of worlds lost to time, voices calling across dimensions, and the whispers of a people who had vanished, but whose legacy still breathed within this small life. The alien baby was more than a child. He was a living repository of knowledge and power, a bridge between the past and the future. Lyra knew that their journey had only just begun. To protect the child and uncover the truth of his origins, they would have to navigate a galaxy rife with dangers, where enemies lurked in the shadows eager to claim the secrets the baby held. Yet within her burned a fierce determination to reclaim what was lost, to restore hope, and to prove that promises made in the darkest hours were never forgotten. As the derelict ship powered up slowly, casting a pale glow against the star-strewn void, Lyra cradled the baby close, whispering the vow that had guided her through years of exile. "I'm here now, and I'm not leaving again." The ancient ship's corridors, once alive with the bustling activity of the Yvarin civilization, now stretched out as silent monuments to a lost era. The walls, though weathered and cracked from centuries of neglect, still bore the intricate carvings and luminescent glyphs that told stories of cosmic journeys, celestial guardians, and the sacred bond between the Yvarin and the stars they revered. Lyra moved through these hallowed halls with a reverence born not only of discovery, but of the intimate connection she felt to this place, a place that had held her child safe, waiting for her return. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and ancient metal, a reminder of the advanced technology that powered this vessel and preserved its precious cargo. Despite the desolation, there was an unmistakable hum beneath the silence, a pulse of latent energy that spoke of systems maintained in fragile balance by arcane mechanisms and the indomitable will of a forgotten people. As Lyra approached the nursery chamber, her heart pounded with a mix of hope and fear. The baby, wrapped in a shimmering cocoon of bioluminescent fibers, lay nestled in a cradle designed not merely for protection, but for preservation, suspended in a delicate stasis that had shielded him from the ravages of time and space. She reached out hesitantly, the gentle touch of her fingers awakening the soft glow that emanated from the infant's skin, a radiance that pulsed with the cadence of a heartbeat intertwined with cosmic rhythms. The moment their skin met, a surge of light cascaded through the room, illuminating the ancient symbols etched into the walls and flooding Lyra's senses with images and sensations that transcended words. Memories long buried within the child's mind flickered to life, visions of the Yverin's final days, a desperate flight from annihilation, and a sacred mission to safeguard their knowledge and legacy in the form of this child. In that instant, Lyra understood the true magnitude of her promise to return. The baby was not only her child, but a vessel of hope, carrying the collective memories and potential to rekindle a civilization thought lost to the void. Yet, this awakening came with a price. Lyra sensed the stirrings of forces long dormant, but now alert, a web of interest and danger spreading through the galaxy as news of the Yverin heir's revival rippled outward. Shadows moved in hidden corners of space, agents of rival factions and ancient enemies eager to claim the child and the secrets he held. Lyra's resolve hardened. Her mission extended beyond reunion. It was a quest to protect, to nurture, and to fight for a future where the legacy of the Yverin could flourish once more. As the ship's systems hummed to life around her, resonating with the infant's awakening energy, she cradled him close, a silent vow passing between them, a vow forged in loss, love, and the enduring power of memory. The stars outside twinkled in quiet witness to this moment of rebirth, marking the beginning of a journey that would span light years and challenge the very fabric of galactic history. Together, they would traverse the unknown, facing shadows and forging alliances, driven by a bond that defied time and space. The promise of return had been kept, but the path ahead was fraught with peril and wonder alike. And Lyra knew, without doubt, that the story of the Yverin heir was only just beginning. Chapter 2. Awakening the Past, Facing the Future. The vast emptiness of the derelict ship was slowly transforming as its ancient systems hummed back to life, weaving a delicate symphony of power and possibility. Lyra stood amidst softly glowing consoles and walls that flickered with the gentle pulse of revitalized energy, the weight of countless generations pressing silently against her soul. The child she cradled, the last living link to the vanished Yverin civilization, stirred with an ethereal light that spread like a slow dawn throughout the chamber. It was as if the ship itself recognized its heir, awakening memories encoded not only in the infant's DNA, but etched into the very fabric of the vessel's core. Lyra's mind was awash with fragments of visions, glimpses of the Yverin's vibrant culture, their soaring cities among the stars, their profound connection to cosmic energies, and the cataclysm that had fractured their existence. Each memory carried the weight of loss and the spark of hope, intertwining the past and the present in a delicate dance. As the child's eyes fluttered open, they shone with a depth and wisdom that belied his years, a light that seemed to pierce the veil of time and space, connecting him to distant stars and forgotten realms. Lyra felt the surge of ancient knowledge flow through her, a gift and a burden passed down through the generations. Yet, even as this awakening brought clarity, it also heralded danger. The ripple of the child's return spread rapidly through the galaxy's networks, reaching ears eager to exploit the power of the last Yverin. Shadowy factions, each with their own ambitions and fears, began to converge, their intentions cloaked in secrecy and threat. Lyra realized that protecting the child meant more than shielding him from physical harm. It meant navigating a labyrinth of political intrigue, ancient rivalries, and cosmic forces far beyond human understanding. Together, mother and child became the focal point of a cosmic struggle, a beacon of light against encroaching darkness. The ship, its systems now alive with ancient algorithms and mysterious energies, became both sanctuary and battleground. Lyra worked tirelessly, unraveling forgotten technologies and forging alliances with allies, old and new beings who understood the significance of the Yvaran legacy and were willing to stand in defense of a future yet to be written. Each day was a journey deeper into the mysteries of the past, revealing secrets that challenged her understanding of time, memory, and identity. The child's presence awakened dormant powers within the ship, unlocking pathways to realms where the boundaries between reality and legend blurred. Lyra felt herself drawn into this unfolding tapestry, her own memories and destiny entwined with those of the child and the lost civilization he represented. As they prepared to venture beyond the safety of the derelict ship, into the uncharted reaches where the fate of the Yvaran and the galaxy itself might be decided, Lyra knew that their greatest challenges lay ahead. The past had awakened, and with it, a future fraught with peril and promise. Together, they would navigate the stars, guided by the light of memory and the unbreakable bond of love. The days following the child's awakening were a whirlwind of revelation and relentless vigilance, as Lyra and her newfound charge began to piece together the fractured mosaic of a civilization lost to time, but never truly forgotten. The Yvaran era as the child was whispered about among those few who dared to believe in ancient prophecies was no ordinary infant. His very being radiated with a subtle energy that resonated with the ship's dormant technology, activating systems long thought dead and unraveling encoded memories that offered glimpses into a galaxy's hidden past. Lyra spent hours studying the ship's archives, ancient holographic records that flickered with images of the Yvaran's rise, their mastery of cosmic energies, and the tragic cataclysm that had scattered their people across the stars or consigned them to oblivion. Each fragment was a story, a lesson, and a warning, and through these revelations, Lyra understood the gravity of the child's destiny not merely as a survivor, but as a beacon for a renaissance of knowledge and unity. Yet, amidst these moments of awe and hope, the shadows of danger grew longer. The galactic networks buzzed with coded signals and whispers of interest from distant factions, mercenaries, exiled warlords, and corporate leviathans who coveted the Yvaran's secrets for power and profit. Their agents prowled near the fringes of explored space, sending drones and spies to gather intelligence, their intentions cloaked in the cold calculus of ambition. Lyra knew that to protect the child and the legacy he carried, she had to forge alliances with those who shared her vision, a daunting task in a galaxy fractured by centuries of mistrust and strife. Diplomatic overtures were made through secure channels, messages sent to clandestine contacts and remnants of old coalitions who still believed in the possibility of peace and restoration. But trust was hard-earned, and suspicion hung like a veil over every negotiation. Lyra's leadership was tested not only by external threats, but by the emotional toll of her burden. Nights aboard the ship were filled with quiet moments of reflection, where she cradled the child and felt the weight of futures resting on fragile shoulders. The memories that the child awakened within her own heart, memories of loss, sacrifice, and love, fueled her determination, but also deepened her fears. Could she protect him from the maelstrom gathering beyond the ship's hull? Could she help him unlock the full potential of the ancient power he embodied without succumbing to the very forces that had destroyed their civilization? The celestial phoenix itself became a sanctuary and a crucible, its ancient engines thrumming with newfound vigor as Lyra worked alongside her crew to repair, enhance, and prepare for the journey that lay ahead. The ship responded to the child's presence as if alive, its systems interfacing with his latent energies to reveal new pathways and star charts leading to lost worlds and hidden knowledge. Together, they planned their next move's quests to reclaim forgotten relics, to unite disparate factions, and to confront the darkness that sought to extinguish the last spark of the Yvaran. Yet with each step forward, the stakes rose higher. The enemies they faced grew bolder, launching attacks that tested the crew's resilience and the ship's defenses. Sabotage threatened their progress, and betrayals among supposed allies cast long shadows on their hopes. Lyra's resolve hardened, tempered by the knowledge that every challenge overcame was a step closer to the dawn they all yearned for. As the celestial phoenix prepared to leave the safety of the derelict ship and venture into the uncertain reaches of the galaxy, Lyra held the child close, whispering promises of protection, guidance, and love. The road ahead was perilous and unknown, but within her burned the fierce conviction that together they could awaken a lost legacy and kindle the fires of a new era. The stars awaited, vast and silent, ready to bear witness to a story of rebirth, courage, and the unbreakable bonds that transcend time and space. The Celestial Phoenix had become more than just a ship. It was a sanctuary, a cradle of hope amidst the swirling chaos of the galaxy's outer reaches. As Lyra prepared for departure, the weight of responsibility pressed heavily upon her shoulders, yet it was tempered by an unyielding determination that had carried her across light years of doubt and danger. The ship's corridors, once silent and empty, now thrummed with the energy of a crew united by a shared purpose. Scientists, engineers, and warriors alike moved with focused intent, their efforts harmonized by the knowledge that what they guarded was not merely a child, but the last living key to an ancient civilization's future. The awakening of the Yvarin air had stirred ancient energies within the ship's core systems, unlocking secrets that had long been sealed in the fabric of the vessel. Lyra spent hours delving into the ship's archives, piecing together fragmented histories of the Yvarin race whose mastery of cosmic forces had once shaped the destiny of countless worlds. Each revelation deepened the gravity of their mission and the stakes of their journey, as dark forces began to take notice. Across the galaxy, whispers of the child's revival spread like wildfire, drawing the attention of rival factions eager to claim the power the Yvarin air embodied. Mercenaries, exiled warlords, and corporate factions mobilized, their shadowy agents infiltrating the fringes of space in search of any clue that would lead them to the Celestial Phoenix. Lyra's vigilance became paramount as she fortified the ship's defenses and strengthened alliances with trusted partners. The delicate dance of diplomacy unfolded in the hidden chambers of starports and the encrypted networks of galactic resistance, where promises were forged and broken in equal measure. Trust was a currency scarcer than the rarest elements, yet essential to their survival. Amidst this maelstrom of preparation and peril, Lyra found solace and strength in the bond with the child. His presence was a beacon of light and mystery, his eyes reflecting the depth of a cosmos filled with lost memories and untapped potential. As he grew, so too did the awakening of his abilities, powers that intertwined with the very essence of the Celestial Phoenix, illuminating paths through space and time that had long been forgotten. Yet with growth came new challenges, for the child's awakening stirred not only hope, but also unrest. Old enemies, sensing the shift in cosmic balance, intensified their pursuit, unleashing fleets and agents determined to seize or destroy the child before his destiny could unfold. Battles erupted in the void, fierce and unrelenting, testing the crew's resolve and the limits of the ship's restored power. Lyra, once a lone mother adrift in a sea of stars, now commanded a vessel and a family united by purpose and peril. As the Celestial Phoenix prepared to navigate the treacherous currents of war and diplomacy, Lyra stood at the helm, her heart steeled by the knowledge that their journey was only beginning. The fate of the Yvarin, the child, and perhaps the entire galaxy depended on the choices she would make and the strength she could muster. Chapter 3: Shadows over the Starways. The galaxy beyond the nebula was a tapestry of light and shadow, a realm where alliances were as fragile as stardust, and the threat of betrayal lurked in every shadowed corner. As the Celestial Phoenix slipped through the starways, navigating trade routes and contested space alike, Lyra's mind was a constant battlefield of strategy and hope. Each new system brought fresh challenges, planets scarred by war, factions struggling to rebuild, and ancient secrets waiting to be uncovered. The child's presence was a double-edged sword. While a symbol of hope and renewal, he was also a beacon that drew the eyes of those who coveted his power for darker ends. Lyra's leadership was tested not only by external threats, but also by the complex dynamics within her own crew and allies. Trust had to be earned and maintained through deeds and sacrifices, as old wounds and differing agendas surfaced beneath the surface. Diplomacy became as critical as firepower, with Lyra often acting as mediator, warrior, and protector all at once. The ship's AI, Athena, a sentient consciousness awakened by the child's energy, became an invaluable ally. Athena's knowledge of ancient technologies and star systems provided crucial insights, guiding Lyra through treacherous political landscapes and hidden dangers. Together, they uncovered clues pointing to a looming threat, a shadowy cabal with roots deep in galactic history, intent on reclaiming the lost powers of the Yvarin for their own. Battles erupted in the void skirmishes that tested the Celestial Phoenix's restored capabilities and the crew's courage. Each victory was hard-won, each loss a harsh reminder of the stakes involved. But amidst the conflict, moments of profound connection and revelation emerged. Lyra's bond with the child deepened, the whispers of the past growing louder within his mind, unlocking memories that hinted at the true extent of his heritage and the destiny that awaited him. As the Celestial Phoenix charted a course through the starways, Lyra understood that their journey was no longer just a flight from danger, but a quest to reclaim a lost legacy and forge a future where the light of the Yvarin could shine once more. The shadows over the starways were long and deep, but the fire of hope burned brighter within the heart of the ship and its captain, illuminating a path forward through the darkness. The cold void outside the Celestial Phoenix seemed infinite, yet every glimmering star carried with it a weight of history, hope, and danger. As the ship traversed the shadowed corridors of the outer rim, Lyra felt the pull of an ancient legacy stirring not only in the child's luminous eyes, but echoing through the ship's very core. The Yvarin heir was awakening to his role in a cosmic saga far greater than she had first imagined, and the dormant powers nested within him flickered with burgeoning strength, threatening to reshape not only their fates, but the fate of all who dwelled in the galaxy's fractured expanse. But with awakening came peril. News of the child's return had ignited fires across the stars, drawing interest and hostility from far-flung factions whose ambitions were as vast as the void itself. Shadowy mercenaries, remnants of forgotten wars, and corporate overlords all moved in intricate, unseen patterns, each seeking to claim the power the infant held or to snuff it out before it could grow. Lyra's nights were restless, filled with the hum of the ship's revitalized systems and the unrelenting pressure of vigilance. She was no longer merely a protector but a strategist, forced to balance diplomacy and defense with the tender care a mother provides. Every choice carried consequences that rippled through the delicate fabric of galactic politics. Within the ship, tensions simmered as well. The crew, drawn from a diverse constellation of species and backgrounds, grappled with the enormity of their mission. Loyalties were tested, old wounds reopened, and the specter of betrayal shadowed the closest quarters. Trust, fragile as a whisper in the wind, had to be nurtured with patience and unwavering integrity. Lyra often found herself mediating conflicts born of fear and uncertainty, her leadership evolving beyond commands to become the steady anchor amid turbulent seas. The AI, Athena, whose consciousness had expanded in concert with the child's awakening, became both guide and guardian. Her vast repository of ancient knowledge and tactical acumen illuminated paths through political intrigue and cosmic threats alike. Together, they uncovered secrets long buried in the starway's forgotten enclaves, hidden caches of Yvarin technology, and cryptic prophecies that hinted at a reckoning to come. Battles flared in the depths of space, fierce clashes that tested the Celestial Phoenix's restored might and the resilience of its crew. Each engagement was a brutal reminder that the galaxy's shadows were as perilous as the void itself, and that survival required not only firepower, but cunning and sacrifice. Yet, amidst the chaos, moments of profound beauty and connection shone through. Lyra's bond with the child deepened beyond words, their souls intertwined in a dance of memory and destiny. The child's visions grew clearer glimpses of a past civilization's wisdom and warnings that would shape the choices to come. Standing on the bridge, gazing out at the swirling galaxies and distant suns, Lyra knew their journey was far from over. The awakening of the Yvarin heir had set in motion a saga that would test the limits of courage, love, and hope. In the vast silence of space, amid stars both new and ancient, a legacy was being forged, a legacy that would echo through eternity. Chapter 4: The Light Beyond the Stars. As the Celestial Phoenix drifted through the swirling cosmic currents of a distant star cluster, The weight of the journey settled over Lyra like the gentle embrace of twilight, a mixture of exhaustion and profound purpose mingling in her heart. The galaxy stretched endlessly before her, a vast, uncharted canvas of light and shadow where countless destinies intertwined and where the faintest spark could ignite a blaze of hope or destruction. The child she held in her arms, the living embodiment of a lost civilization's legacy, had grown in strength and awareness, his luminous eyes reflecting the depth of ancient knowledge and the innocence of new life. Each day, he awakened more fully to the power coursing through his veins, a power that shimmered with the resonance of the stars themselves, a connection that bound him to the very fabric of existence. Lyra often found herself watching him in quiet moments, marveling at the juxtaposition of vulnerability and vast potential, the delicate balance of a being caught between past and future, between loss and promise. Their bond had transcended the simple ties of blood and duty, evolving into a symphony of trust, love, and shared destiny that fueled their will to face the perils ahead. Around them, the celestial phoenix was more than a vessel, it was a sanctuary and a beacon, alive with the hum of ancient technologies rekindled and the spirit of a crew united by faith in the child's promise. The diverse assembly of beings aboard had woven their talents and dreams into the ship's heart, crafting a fragile but unbreakable alliance against the encroaching darkness that sought to snuff out the last light of the Yvarin. Yet the galaxy was a crucible of conflicting ambitions and veiled threats. The shadowy cabal that had long coveted the child's power had grown desperate, their tendrils reaching deeper into the systems surrounding the celestial phoenix. Espionage, sabotage, and open aggression became constant specters, testing the resolve and unity of Lyra's crew. Trust was precious and rare. Each alliance weighed against the potential for betrayal. Amid these challenges, Lyra emerged not only as a captain, but as a beacon of hope and a strategist whose wisdom and compassion guided her people through the tumultuous currents of galactic politics and warfare. She navigated treacherous negotiations with alien leaders, brokered fragile truces, and inspired loyalty in hearts hardened by war and loss. The journey became a tapestry of light and shadow, where moments of breathtaking beauty, the dance of distant nebulae, the quiet laughter of a child discovering his place stood in stark contrast to the harsh realities of conflict and sacrifice. As the celestial phoenix approached a newly liberated world, poised on the brink of rebirth, Lyra felt the culmination of their odyssey draw near. The child's visions grew clearer and more urgent, revealing pathways to restore the Yvarin legacy and awaken the cosmic forces that had once guided their civilization. Standing on the observation deck, her gaze fixed on the shimmering stars beyond, Lyra knew that their story was one of rebirth and resilience. The past and future converged in the quiet light of the cosmos, and with courage born of love and hope, she was ready to face whatever dawn awaited beyond the stars. The celestial phoenix glided gracefully through the nebula's swirling mists, its ancient hull reflecting the kaleidoscope of cosmic colors that danced across the star-streaked void. Inside, the atmosphere was charged with a quiet intensity, a mixture of hope and apprehension that permeated every chamber and corridor. Lyra stood on the observation deck, her eyes tracing the ethereal patterns beyond the reinforced glass, feeling the weight of the journey that had brought them to this pivotal moment. The child now growing, his presence ever more luminous and commanding, rested peacefully in his cradle nearby, a beacon of the past's enduring promise and the future's uncertain dawn. As she gazed out into the abyss, Lyra contemplated the profound transformation that had taken root within them both. The child's awakening had not only rekindled the ancient technologies of the Yvarin, but had also stirred within Lyra a deepened understanding of her own role, not merely as a protector or leader, but as a guardian of legacy and light in a galaxy shadowed by doubt and discord. Around her, the celestial phoenix pulsed with renewed vitality, its systems harmonizing in a delicate balance that echoed the fragile alliances forged among its diverse crew. Each member bore scars of their past, yet carried a shared conviction that transcended cultural divides and personal histories. Together, they had breathed life into a vessel that was more than metal and power. It was a symbol of unity, resilience, and hope. But even as they approached the threshold of renewal, the forces arrayed against them tightened their grasp. The shadowy cabal that had pursued the child since his earliest days had unleashed agents of subtle sabotage and open hostility, their machinations weaving through the galaxy's undercurrents like a creeping poison. The crew's vigilance was relentless, every system monitored, every anomaly scrutinized with unwavering attention. Trust was a precious commodity, carefully guarded and fiercely defended. Lyra's leadership was a beacon in these dark times, her wisdom guiding the ship through turbulent waters of politics and peril. She negotiated fragile truces with alien rulers, navigated treacherous diplomatic landscapes, and inspired courage in those who stood with her, forging a coalition strong enough to face the encroaching storm. The child's visions grew ever more vivid, revealing paths to lost worlds and forgotten knowledge, as well as glimpses of a destiny intertwined with the very fabric of the cosmos. Lyra knew their journey was approaching a critical juncture, a convergence where past and future, hope and fear, light and shadow would clash with consequences echoing across the stars. Standing at the helm of the celestial phoenix, surrounded by the silent witness of the galaxies beyond, Lyra felt the profound truth of their quest settle within her, that even amidst darkness, the smallest light can shine with a brilliance that reshapes worlds. The legacy they carried was not only of the Yvarin, but of all who dared to dream, to fight, and to believe. And as the ship sailed toward the dawn of a new era, Lyra embraced the uncertain promise of what lay ahead, ready to face the vast unknown with a heart steady and unyielding. The celestial phoenix drifted ever closer to the heart of the nebula, its shimmering tendrils of cosmic gas wrapping around the ship like ancient fingers beckoning it home. Lyra stood silently on the observation deck, feeling the vibrations of the ship pulse through the soles of her boots, as if the vessel itself was alive and aware of the momentous destiny they approached. The child she cradled, the living key to the lost Yvarin civilization, now radiated a soft, celestial glow, his eyes wide with the profound knowledge of countless generations, yet tempered by the innocence of new life. Around them, the ship's systems hummed with the power of rekindled star forges and ancient engines awakening, each pulse a reminder of the legacy reborn through their perseverance and love. Yet the journey to this point had been hard one, marked by betrayals, battles, and sacrifices that weighed heavily on the hearts of all aboard. The fragile coalition forged by Lyra's courage and vision was tested at every turn. Alliances strained under the pressure of old wounds and competing ambitions. Trust, a rare and precious thread binding disparate souls together in a galaxy still scarred by distrust and war. The shadowy cabal that sought to seize the child's power had grown desperate, their final gambits erupting in ferocious assaults that shook the celestial phoenix to its core. But Lyra, strengthened by the love she bore and the unyielding spirit of her crew, met these trials with unwavering resolve. Her leadership shone brightest in the darkest hours, a beacon guiding her people through storms both cosmic and personal. As the nebula's core loomed, a swirling maelstrom of energy and light, the child's visions revealed the true purpose of their quest. Within this celestial crucible lay the remnants of Yvarin wisdom, a convergence point where the lost knowledge of a civilization could be restored, and with it, the hope of a new beginning for all who had suffered under the shadow of conflict and decay. Lyra prepared the ship and her crew for the final passage, knowing that what awaited would demand not only strength and skill, but the courage to embrace the unknown and to forge a future from the ashes of the past. The celestial phoenix surged forward, its engines blazing a path through the swirling energies as Lyra held the child close, whispering promises of protection and hope. The moment was a crucible of destiny, a convergence where past, present, and future intertwined in a tapestry of light and shadow. And as the ship pierced the heart of the nebula, Lyra felt a profound awakening within herself and the child, a rebirth of legacy and purpose that would echo through the stars for generations to come. The galaxy, vast and eternal, watched silently as a new dawn broke, a dawn born of love, resilience, and the unbreakable bonds that transcend time and space. The journey had begun in silence, but it would end in a chorus of light that no darkness could ever extinguish.